The MCU Multiverse can get confusing fast.
It gets confusing here.
So here's a quick and simple recap of the entire multiverse timeline, explained in the easiest way possible. The timeline we've been following in MCU since Iron Man kicked things off is officially called the Sacred Timeline, also known as Universe 616. This is the main timeline where most of the Marvel Cinematic Universe stories take place, from the Avengers assembling to Thanos' snap and beyond. But here's where it gets interesting. Sometimes certain choices or actions, called Nexus events, cause the sacred timeline to branch out. These branches lead to alternate realities, creating new timelines that explore what could have happened if events had gone differently. That's what gives us all the wild scenarios in What If, like Peggy Carter becoming Captain Carter or a zombie-filled Marvel world. The Time Variance Authority, or TVA, was secretly created by a powerful being known as He Who Remains. His goal? To keep the sacred timeline, Universe 616, perfectly controlled and isolated from chaos. Anytime a timeline started to branch off because of a Nexus event, the TVA would swoop in and prune it. Basically, they'd erase that timeline to prevent a multiversal war. They made sure things stayed neat and tidy, or at least that's what they wanted everyone to believe. In Loki Season 1, He Who Remains tells Loki and Sylvie about the first multiversal war, a massive battle between different versions of himself from alternate realities. Each variant thought they could run the multiverse better than the others. Things got out of control fast.
Erupted into all-out war.
To stop the chaos, He Who Remains discovered and weaponized a powerful creature called Alioth, which could consume time and reality itself. Using Alioth, he wiped out the other timelines and created one controlled timeline, the Sacred Timeline, bringing peace, but at a cost. What's really important is how he visualizes the multiverse. It's not just a bunch of branches on one line, it's more like a web of entire timelines layered on top of each other, hinting that the MCU's multiverse is far bigger and deeper than we first thought. After Sylvie kills He Who Remains, everything unravels. With no one left to control the flow of time, the sacred timeline begins to fracture. The TVA, once a well-oiled machine pruning rogue branches, starts falling apart from the inside. Confusion, betrayal, and chaos ripple through its ranks, and no one knows who's really in charge anymore. With the TVA no longer able to keep things in check, branch timelines begin to grow unchecked, giving rise to infinite new realities. This explosive shift directly sets the stage for the events of What If, where we start seeing alternate versions of heroes we thought we knew, and continues into Loki Season 2, where the multiverse becomes even more unstable, and Loki himself starts to understand the true scale of what's at stake. Across 3 mind-bending seasons of What If, we follow Uatu the Watcher, a cosmic being sworn only to observe, never interfere, though as we've seen, that rule gets bent when the multiverse is in danger. Each episode showcases a different universe, where one choice changes everything. Peggy becomes Captain Carter, T'Challa becomes Star-Lord, but these stories aren't just one-offs. Over time, they accumulate and connect, revealing a bigger picture. These alternate versions of our heroes are eventually pulled together by Uatu himself to face multiversal-level threats like Infinity Ultron, a variant of Ultron, who acquires all the Infinity Stones, Strange Supreme, a corrupted version of Doctor Strange, and even the Watchers themselves. It's not just about asking what if, it's about seeing how far the multiverse can be pushed before it collapses. The conflict with the Watchers reached a breaking point, and it came at a heavy cost. Captain Carter, arguably the heart of What If, ends up making the ultimate sacrifice. Her death marks a turning point, not just emotionally, but for Uatu the Watcher himself. Up to this point, Uatu was bound by his oath to never interfere. But now, with the multiverse unraveling and threats escalating, he makes a vow to actively protect the multiverse from harm, even if it means breaking every rule his kind once followed. And here's where things get even more interesting. Rumors are swirling that Uatu could make his live-action debut in the upcoming Fantastic Four movie. Moving on to Spider-Man No Way Home, where Peter Parker messes up Doctor Strange's memory wipe spell, causing the multiverse to crack open. Instead of everyone forgetting Peter as Spider-Man, the spell backfires and pulls in people from other universes. That's how villains like Doc Ock, Green Goblin, Electro, Sandman, and Lizard, all from previous Spider-Man franchises, end up in the MCU. But it's not just the bad guys who show up. Both Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield's versions of Peter Parker arrive as well, leading to an emotional and legendary Spider-Man team-up that fans had waited decades to see. After a chaotic battle at the Statue of Liberty and the multiverse literally tearing open in the sky, the Spider-Men managed to cure the villains, and Doctor Strange casts a final spell to send everyone back to their native universes. The cost? Everyone in the main MCU timeline, Universe 616, completely forgets who Peter Parker is. Not Spider-Man, but Peter Parker. That means no friends, no MJ, no Aunt May, No Avengers backup. He's completely on his own now, sewing a new suit and starting from scratch.
Hey.
And by the way, remember Sony's Venom? He popped into the MCU thanks to multiversal chaos, only to leave just as fast, but not before a tiny piece of the symbiote was left behind at a bar in Mexico. That little alien blob is still somewhere in the MCU, just waiting to bond with someone. Moving on to Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, the story picks up shortly after the events of WandaVision. Grieving and corrupted by the Darkhold, Wanda Maximoff fully embraces her identity as the Scarlet Witch and begins hunting America Chavez, a teenage girl with the unique and incredibly rare ability to travel through the multiverse naturally. Wanda's goal? To steal America's powers so she can jump into another universe where her sons, Billy and Tommy, are alive and be their mother again. Doctor Strange narrowly saves America Chavez from Wanda's relentless pursuit, but in doing so, they end up tumbling through the multiverse. Their chaotic journey lands them in Universe 838, a world that's very different from the main MCU timeline. In this universe, iconic teams like the X-Men, Inhumans, Fantastic Four, and an alternate version of the Avengers, and they form a powerful group known as the Illuminati. This is where things get intense. Strange learns about a devastating phenomenon known as an incursion, a multiversal collision event where two universes smash into each other, and if left unchecked, one or both realities are completely destroyed. The Illuminati warns Strange that his variant in their universe was responsible for causing an incursion, and it cost him his life. This revelation sets the stage for the stakes of the multiverse. Messing with other realities has real, world-ending consequences. Wanda, now fully consumed by the Darkhold's corrupting influence, begins dreamwalking, a forbidden spell that lets her possess versions of herself in other universes. Using this terrifying ability, she takes control of her variant in Universe 838 and brutally murders the entire Illuminati, including fan-favorite characters like Professor X, Captain Carter, Black Bolt, and Mr. Fantastic. It's one of the most shocking and ruthless scenes in the entire MCU. With few options left, Doctor Strange travels to yet another universe, this one ravaged by chaos and madness. There, he encounters a dark, twisted variant of himself who's completely lost to the Darkhold. After a deadly confrontation, Strange kills this version and takes the Darkhold for himself. In a desperate move, he uses dreamwalking to possess the corpse of another variant, the one that died earlier and was buried in Universe 616. Controlling a dead version of himself, he returns to confront Wanda in an epic final showdown that's equal parts horror and heroism. America Chavez, realizing that brute force won't stop Wanda, decides instead to give her exactly what she wants, a glimpse into a universe where her sons Billy and Tommy exist. But what Wanda sees isn't love. It's fear. The boys scream in terror at the sight of her, recognizing that she's not their real mother, but a monster trying to take their mom's place. This heartbreaking moment snaps Wanda out of her rage, and she finally understands the destruction she's caused. Wanda destroys the Darkhold in every universe by collapsing the throne of Wundagora Mountain on herself. With peace restored, America Chavez begins her next chapter. She's now training at Kamartaj, learning the mystic arts and how to properly wield her universe-hopping powers, a sign that she could become a major player in the multiverse saga. But Strange's actions haven't gone without consequences. Because he tampered with the Darkhold and dreamwalked across realities, he's caused something catastrophic. An incursion. That's when Clea literally cuts into reality and tells him they need to fix what he broke. And just like that, Strange heads off into his next mind-bending adventure. Moving on. In Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, we meet a powerful variant of He Who Remains, but this one goes by Kang the Conqueror. Unlike He Who Remains, this Kang is ruthless, terrifying, and very much not interested in keeping peace. He was banished by his fellow Kang variants to the quantum realm, a microscopic dimension outside of space and time, where he's been plotting his revenge ever since. While trapped there, he crosses paths with Janet Van Dyne, who had also been stuck in the quantum realm for decades. The two team up, and Janet helps him rebuild his multiversal ship. But just when Kang is close to escaping, Janet touches the ship's core and gets a horrifying vision. Kang isn't just a genius, he's a multiverse-destroying tyrant, obliterating timelines one after another. Realizing the danger he poses, Janet betrays him, sabotaging his ship and trapping him deeper in the quantum realm, setting the stage for the events of Quantumania. After Janet Van Dyne escapes the quantum realm in Ant-Man and the Wasp, she keeps her past there a secret until it's too late. In Quantumania, during what seems like an innocent experiment with quantum tech, Scott Lang, Hope, Cassie, Janet, and Hank all get sucked back into the quantum realm. But this isn't the strange, unexplored world Janet once described. Now it's something entirely different. Down there, the Ant family learns the truth. Kang has taken over the quantum realm and rules it like a futuristic dystopia. Janet's worst fears are realized when she comes face to face with him again, and this time, Kang's ready to make his case. He tells her, and eventually Scott, why he's destroying entire universes. From his perspective, it's all in the name of order. He believes if he doesn't wipe out timelines, other, more dangerous Kang variants will. It's his version of a necessary evil, a multiversal greater good. After an intense showdown, Scott and Hope manage to take down Kang in the quantum realm, or so they think. It seems like Kang the Conqueror is gone, sucked into some unknown part of the multiverse, but the damage he set in motion is far from over. Just when things seem to settle, we get a chilling post-credits scene. We're taken to a mysterious arena, unlike anything we've seen before, filled with thousands of Kang variants, all wearing different costumes, each more dangerous than the last. At the center of it all stands the Council of Kangs, led by Immortus, Ramatut, and a futuristic Scarlet Centurion type. These aren't random versions of Kang. They're the most powerful and organized, and they are furious that one of their own was killed. Back to Loki Season 2. After the multiverse begins to unravel, Loki starts time slipping uncontrollably, pulled between the past, present, and future. In his search for answers, he uncovers more secrets about He Who Remains, the true nature of the TVA, and how fragile the multiverse really is. Loki and his allies eventually track down Victor Timely, a 19th century inventor and a variant of He Who Remains. Victor holds the key to rebuilding the temporal loom, a device meant to organize the infinite timelines into order, but there's one problem. No matter how many branches they try to stabilize, the sheer chaos of the multiverse is too much. Every attempt to fix it fails. With the TVA on the verge of collapse and timelines dying, Loki makes a heartbreaking decision. He sacrifices himself. Using all the time-slipping ability he's gained, he takes control of the broken loom, walks through the blinding time storm, and ascends to the Citadel at the end of time. In a stunning visual transformation, Loki sits atop the throne, cradling the timelines like roots of Yggdrasil, now a literal god of stories, ensuring the multiverse doesn't collapse. Loki may be gone from the TVA, but now he's the one holding everything together. With Loki now sitting at the center of time, the TVA gets a major reset. No longer a tool for pruning timelines in secret, it's restructured into a force of protection, dedicated to safeguarding the multiverse, not controlling it. The villain of the Loki series, Ravonna Renslayer, was last seen in the Void, but her fate is unknown. Moving on to the Marvels. Near the climax of the film, the villain Dar-Ben uses the twin bangles and accidentally tears open a hole in space and time. To fix it, Carol Danvers and Kamala Khan supercharge Monica Rambeau, unlocking her full powers. And in a moment of pure heroism, Monica flies into the rift and seals it shut from the other side. But that means she's stranded. When she wakes up, Monica finds herself in an entirely different universe, one where the X-Men exist. She's met by a variant of her mother, now known as Binary, and is surrounded by characters we've only seen in Fox's X-Men films. After that, we move to Deadpool and Wolverine. We pick up after the events of Deadpool 2 and Logan, but with a major twist. We learn that Wolverine is the anchor being of the Fox universe, officially designated as Earth 10,005. An anchor being is basically the glue holding that entire reality together. But since Wolverine died in Logan, that glue is gone. And when an anchor dies, their universe doesn't immediately explode, and it starts to slowly unravel. That's exactly what's happening to Earth 10,005. Wade tries to find a new anchor being and finds the worst Wolverine, and after a conflict with the TVA agent Paradox, Wade and Logan get sent to the Void where they meet Professor X's sister Cassandra Nova, who plans on destroying the multiverse, leaving only the Void. A mysterious dumping ground outside space and time, introduced back in Loki Season 1. Remember Alioth? Yes, he is still in the Void. We see multiple characters from past Marvel movies in the Void, like Elektra, at Blade, Channing Tatum's Gambit, and X-23, who's confirmed to be the same one from Logan. Deadpool and Wolverine stops Cassandra from killing the Fox universe, and Deadpool and Wolverine becomes the new anchor beings of Universe 10,005. In the post-credits scene of Captain America Brave New World, Sam Wilson, now fully established as the new Captain America, is approached by the leader, who's been lurking in the shadows throughout the film. But instead of a classic villain monologue or immediate threat, the leader drops a chilling question. How will you protect this world from the others? And that brings us straight into the chaos of Avengers: Doomsday.